to another episode of the Joestar podcast. And today we're going to be covering topics such as Miss Marvel, Thor, Love and Thunder. I was able to go and see it today. And horoscopes, are they true or not? So let's start off with Miss Marvel episode 4. I know I'm a little bit behind because episode 5 has come out, but something happened during the weeks, and so we ended up messing around and stuff. But first off, the Pakistani trip when they traveled to Pakistan to meet their Nana was nice, and the fact that she had cousins was quite a surprise. Like, you wouldn't have thought Miss Marvel would have cousins because, like, she's a superhero. She has a couple of brothers and sisters, but yeah, it's all right. And when they went into the Nana's house and she went into the jewelry room instead of her bedroom, it was a surprise to see all those jewels that she had. And the fact that the Nani did drawing as well was quite amazing, and they looked really good. And the fact that the Nani had drawn her mother, in this case Kamala's great grandmother, it was quite cool. She had been told that the Nani had been told that she had gene genetics, and that was quite an interesting topic because, like, you wouldn't think, because of the criminals from the last episode and this one would mix, and so yeah. The nightmare scene was short, when she was thinking about the past things that had happened on those days, but it did kind of link to what had happened in the last episode. Learned a lot about Pakistani culture when they were going through it, and she was hanging out with her cousins and they were going down roads, and we learned a lot about, like, travel and that sort of thing. And it was very nice, and, like, it made me think a little bit more of India than, say, Pakistan. But overall, it's a rural country, so it could be anything. And, like, I'm not a geography guy, so I wouldn't know about that. The battle scene between her, Miss Marvel, and I think it was one of the red daggers, and it was pretty nice. And it was pretty creative, and I loved how they mentioned Donkey Kong and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was very cool, and the references were amazing because they're literal stuff that we know about in our timeline. So it was pretty cool. The Red Dagger story mixed with Aisha, the nanny, was quite a good story because it developed on what she had been working with, and, like, how how she was staying more in Pakistan than wanting to go to like America or something like that. um, the bad guys from the old one, they had been put into a prison, and from that scene, they were able to escape by attacking them and also cutting their handcuffs off as well. And then they just ran out to escape so that she could hunt down Kamala. Um, the interaction between Kamala's mother and her mother, it was very sweet, and they were able to like develop about what her life was like, and how she like was like um, a little different to others, and how she was more of like a dreamer than say her mum and stuff like that. And so it it was quite nice to see them actually connect and show a connection between them, because mother-daughter bonding is what's going to happen with Kamala and her mother. And so by showing this, it allows us to make a lot of people feel comforted and feel like the movies, the mothers are the best thing about it. Yeah. Um, the battle between the Jinn and the Red Daggers, so these were the enemies, and then the people who Kamala teamed up with. It was a crazy battle, but one of the characters, the main Red Dagger guy, he got killed, and now it's a little shock because I was starting to like him, and it was like, oh my gosh, this guy is an amazing fighter. How did this happen to him? And it was all like, whoa and wow and more stuff like that. And she got Kamala got into a car, and I liked how she put her driving test things from the first episode to now, and how she put it to the test, and she was able to actually drive a truck and then save Red Dagger from getting killed by one of them. And that was very nice and interesting, and more the fact that she put her driving skills to the test was a nice touch. And right at the end, when she somehow, I think it was like she traveled, or she went through something that took her to her nanny's past, and that was quite amazing. But because they left it on such a cliffhanger, it was like, what's going to happen? How is she going to do this? How is she going to do that? But next time when we talk about this, we'll hopefully get some more ideas as to what's gone on and stuff like that. Next up, well, if I was to give Miss Marvel episode 4 a rating, it would probably be a 6 out of 10. It wasn't as good as the other ones, but overall, it was quite a nice one. And our next segment is one moment. Our next segment is films coming out this month, and how I would rank them. So For Love and Thunder comes out, well, in England and Australia today, and I was super excited for it. It was like really hype, and so I was really excited for it, and it proved some good stuff, but you'll find out about that in a bit. Next up, we have Rise of Gru. Sorry. Um, so I'm not a big Despicable Me fan, but um, I would say from the trailer, I haven't gone and seen it yet because of all the suit thing and going on like that. I don't think I will see it, but from the trailer, it was very funny. There were some funny bits, there were some mischievous bits, and a very despicable young Gru. That is amazing. And in the trailer, they showed him squirting cheese whiz on people. That was a link to the first Despicable Me when we first met Gru, and he was freeze raying everyone. It was almost exactly the same uh, camera angle, and I would say if you want to see Minions Rise of Gru, it's more for children, but it does have a powerful message. And if you've liked the previous Despicable Me / Minions films, definitely go and see it. You'll love it. It's gonna be hilarious. And then finally, I know there's like a bunch of ones, but Super Pets, which comes out 29th of July. That is amazing. It's amazing what they started to do with Warner Brothers combining with DC and making this animated film. It's interesting. I like how Keanu Reeves is going to be playing Batman, and like there's going to be a mix between animals and humans in the superheroes in the DC universe. It's quite cool, I'd say. Like I really do want to see it, but I feel like it's going to be more of like a Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse thing, where it's like it's animated for young kids, but it interests adults because of the superhero aspect and the comic aspect as well. But in a couple of weeks, we'll get the episode where I might have watched it, depending if I do want to watch it. I feel like it's going to be a Life of Pets / DC superhero movie pushed together. Now, next segment, For Love and Thunder. First off, I'd like to say spoilers in case you haven't seen it, but because I don't know if it like comes out in America on the 8th, or if it's not fully, if you haven't fully watched it and stuff like that. I know most people who do like their own things. Like I watched this guy on TikTok called Soups. He got to go and see For Love and Thunder at the premiere, and I know most people like that, or the actors get to see the whole film, and it was it's so spoiler warning if you haven't seen For Love and Thunder. You should watch it. It's pretty amazing. Okay, first off, Gore's backstory was a sad one because, of course, he lost his daughter, and like he couldn't really. Uh, he ended up turning bad, because of the whole his god wouldn't appreciate him and stuff like that. Um, but it did have to happen that way because otherwise there wouldn't be a villain to Thor: Love and Thunder. But overall, it started good. Um, I like the fact that it joined. It continued his journey with the Guardians. So um, um, there was there were like um, the Guardians and Thor teaming up to save planets and uh, doing that sort of thing. Kraglin was funny. He got married and then he had to end up saying sorry, but I need to leave because um, Star Lord said to him, "You can't get married on every planet." And the team up with him was quite amazing, and it was really cool to see him in some nice clothes that had a similar feeling to Peter Quill, but overall it was quite nice. Um, Jane Foster's cancer treatment was quite sad, um, and the fact that Darcy was there was a nice touch. And when she was in the lab, there was a little hint of Eric Selvig, and um, but I feel like they should have hinted, even if they might not wanted to, hinted at one division with Darcy maybe saying something along the lines of, "I know you really want to get on with the scientific thing, but you don't want to end up in a field like I did." And then it would be hinting at what she ended up going through a field, going through through the hex, and yeah. But like, if they had developed it, I would have found it a much more interesting thing. But it was sad to see that she ended up getting cancer because of the redstone. Um, New Asgard as a tourist attraction was quite cool, and the fact that they made a sketch about Ragnarok was pretty cool. One of my favorite bits from there was Matt Damon. He was squirting his eyes to make it look like he was crying, but it was hilarious, and had a couple of funny bits there. Uh, Jane and Mjolnir scene. The fact that Mjolnir actually responded to her and it went a little thundery and it was glowing and stuff. That was pretty cool, but I feel like they could have developed it. Even though they talked about it later in the film, I feel like they could have actually shown her like getting suited up, Wasp, and holding Mjolnir, and maybe Mjolnir reforming into its original state. Um, the goats, they were probably the funniest bit of it, and the fact that they screamed like the meme was pretty funny. And yeah, um, the first battle with Gore was pretty brutal, and the meeting between Thor and Jane was quite cute. Mm, was interesting, even though in the trailer it looked like Jane might have made an Asgardian people um, gear up, but what Thor did was he used Stormbreaker to gear up. The fact that Gore went after the children was a little sad, and also the thing that Heimdall had a son was a surprise to me, because like you wouldn't have thought that Heimdall would have a son, even though he can just about do his powers. It was a little intense. The God meeting, the whole thing where he went into that gold place was quite amazing. We actually got to see the butt. We saw Chris's butt. But there was a sad moment. Korg got perished, and all I could think for most of the rest of the film was, oh, I hate what happened. He was my favorite character, and it was crazy. And the fact that Korg ended up just being a face was a little creepy, but he still had some comical moments as just a face. Originally, when he perished, I thought he would become a tiny Korg, but it just ended up being his face, and so I was like, oh god, what's going to happen? And the battle after was crazy as well. It like he used powers and stuff, and like Jane used Mjolnir, and the battle was quite almost legendary, I'd say. The romance between Jane and Thor was sweet, and like even though we knew Jane had cancer, she told Thor, and she was so sad. He was so sad about that. The Shadow Realm battle, when after they had left, the Shadow Realm battle was good, and the fact that they made the color black and white was a nice touch. It was pretty cool. It made it feel as if it was actually meant to be in the Shadow Realm, and it was like there's no color in the Shadow Realm, black and white. Yeah. The fact that Jane's cancer got worse, it was annoying. She had like on the hospital bed, it was like she looked so unwell. She almost looked so thin and stuff like that. And it was hard hitting as well. It was like if you knew someone with cancer on that point, you're like you're so scared, but you're also like, thank God that's not me. But I would wish for them to get better, which unfortunately they can't. And the fact that in the final battle, Thor gave his powers to the children was quite a nice touch. And like Heimdall's son using Stormbreaker and being able to transport all the children back to the home was amazing. One of the children in battle, he used a teddy bear, and it was hilarious, but it was also quite cute as well. And so what ended up happening was like you used the teddy bear to destroy the shadow puppets. And the ending where both Jane and Gore died, it was quite sad, because like Thor knew he would never see Jane again because of her cancer, and Gore even asked for to look after his daughter, and it was very sad, and it was shocking until it got to the bit where he was making pancakes, and she was being a bit of a teenager. But it's pretty cool. And the fact that Korg finished off how it started. So at the start, he started we're talking about 4. But then at the end, it was like, let me tell you a story about Jane Foster. And there was a statue with her going like that, holding Mjolnir, but she still had the cancer look on her face. And I loved that she settled down with another rock person called Dwayne. And I also like how they, beforehand, when Korgs described how Korgs were made, they just held hands over a pool of lava, and 1 month later, a new form is born. And the post-credit scene where Zeus talks to his son, even though he was killed, was quite cool and setting him up to be the next villain. Nice. But overall, I would have to give Thor Love and Thunder a 9.5 out of 10. It wasn't as good as, say, most Marvel films, but it was more one of the funnier ones, I'd say. And by the way, Korg did get his whole body back. Yeah. Okay, next up, the ranking of June films. I don't know why I wrote down July, but let's go through them. So the ones I saw were, this is gonna be TV as well. So the first 3 episodes of Miss Marvel. Jurassic World Dominion, Lightyear, Elvis, Miss Marvel, and Top Gun Maverick. Those were the ones I saw. Let's start off. Jurassic World Dominion, I would give an 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen my previous video, it's episode 2, I believe. I talk about it. And it wasn't as good as, say, other Jurassic films, but it also wasn't the best one. So 8 out of 10. Lightyear, 6 out of 10. Last episode 3, I did a whole talk about it and how I felt about it. It was okay. It wasn't as good as, say, Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 1. It did have its ups and downs, but overall 6 out of 10 is what I would give it. Next up, Elvis, 5 out of 10. I wasn't really impressed with what they had done with it, but it could have been better, but it also was a little worse. So, yeah. Miss Marvel, at the moment, this is the first 3 episodes, 7 out of 10. It's all right. It's shown us Pakistani culture. It's shown us what it's like to be a teenage superhero, even though we do have Spider-Man. But it's like what it's like to be a teenager growing up in a religious state and stuff like that. But overall, it's doing the best it can. So 7 out of 10. Now, I'm not a big fan of Top Gun, but Top Gun Maverick, it got me thinking. So I went to see it. 9 out of 10. One of the best Top Gun movies, if I may say so myself. But there were some things I wasn't really interested in, so it's got a lower score than, say, most people would give. And so we move on to our next topic: horoscopes. True, real, or false? So I've got a newspaper here, and it's got some interesting things going on with it. So it has a couple of horoscopes down the side. I'm going to read them a little, and then I could read my one and then discuss it from there, but there are certain people who are different zodiacs to me. I might read the odd ones, so I might go left, right. I'm gonna read a couple and then say how I feel about them. We'll start off with Libra, my one. I'm a Libra. If you don't know, Libra is 24th of September to the 23rd of October. You can decide when you think my birthday is, but so it says, today's quarter moon in your sign can leave you lost for words regarding an opportunity. Yet, with the sun in Cancer and a high-flying zone, this has little to do with whether you are capable of handling it and is more about pretending someone that you are. You'll have the support of others. Today, I do feel like it hasn't really pushed onto me. I do believe in the zodiac signs, and if that sort of thing does happen to me, then I am a little surprised, and so I'm like, oh, maybe this, or this could be true. And if you are a Libra like me too, and you have noticed any of these, do share in the comments or anywhere that you have done that sort of thing. We'll move on to Taurus. And if you don't know, that is April 21st to May 21st. So the presence of Uranus in your sign can be powerful in the sense that it encourages you to adopt fresh perspectives. For this to happen, it is important to know where your comfort zone is. If you feel awkward about trying something new, consider having a go. So if you're a Taurus, don't let things go back on you. Do it. Have a go at it. Even if you think you're bad, just have a go at it. I can't say what you can do, but you should try it no matter what. Overall, some of them do have the odd occasion to not want to go in with certain things. So next up, we'll do Sagittarius, which, if you don't know, is November 23rd to December 21st. How far are you prepared to go to get what you want? The lunation in your sector of dreams and wishes can set you thinking whether certain desires are worth having. Want someone to pay more attention to you? What would happen if they did? Before you go in, it's worth considering. So if, say, someone asks you out on a date, think about it before you do anything else. So have a little think, see what happens, and maybe next time you'll have a good one. Okay, we're gonna finish off with Virgo, um, which, if you don't know, is August 24th to September 23rd. If you have the chance between getting involved in a dispute or not, then it helps to sort things out for good. If the other person seems to have the upper hand or the superior attitude, this could leave you vulnerable. Is it true though? You probably have more influence than you think. So overall, horoscopes, I believe in them. Nate, if you don't, I'm happy that you feel that way, but it's my opinion, so I can do what I like, and it's your opinion too, so you can do what you like. We're gonna finish off with JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Stone Ocean Part 2. If you didn't know already, last December we got the first batch of JoJo Stone Ocean episodes. This time it's coming back September 1st. Almost a year without Stone Ocean. It's a little weird that they're doing it like that, but you never know, we might get another one saying like, oh, the final batch or whatever it ends up being, whether it's a third batch and then a small fourth batch, or whether it's just the third and final batch. But it's okay. I'm happy that at least we're getting it. That's the main thing. Anasui's voice. We got his first Japanese teaser voice. Amazing. Glad we can hear him, and it's pretty cool that there's a scene which is like Jolene and Anasui, and it looks like they're about to kiss, but they don't. It might be an Anasui dream, but we don't really know. That's all for now. Don't forget to join us for next time, when we'll be hopefully doing more stuff and more Miss Marvel. Thank you very much for watching.